right, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, good madam and sir. We're on a boat now that, see this? Check it out. You read that? That says Chris Craft. That's right. We're on a Chris Craft Sportsman 22, and it is running. We're ready to give it a shakedown run, see how everything does. Everything worked good. We got it started up at the shop, and now we are just going to give it a run on the lake here to make sure all systems are go. This thing's fun. Here's our there's our throttle there, shifter down here. So I'm going to engage that. You hear that? Engine drops down in RPMs. Now it's engaged in gear, and we're spinning, moving along here. Nice. Our pressure, our RPM, our amps, fuel level, volts, and hours. There we go. So let's give this a run and see how she does. I'm just going to add a little throttle. Now these boats are kind of unique because they actually, as they sit in the water, the wood swells up and they seal off more. And then they, as you run them, or as they sit in the water, they leak less. They start out leaking more, but this has got 2 auto bilges on it. But any of these wood boats are going to have a little bit to that. But it's pretty dry so far. I haven't seen any auto bilge come off yet. So here we go. I mean, our coolness factor though is high right now. I do feel like I feel like a chauffeur actually right now. Sir, I even have my rag to wipe down the boat. Yeah, like for real. This thing's cool. Okay, we're gonna get this original engine and everything on this. So let's see how it does here. I keep reaching to the throttle right here and it's not here. It's on the steering wheel where a proper throttle should be. Add some RPMs here. Okay, 22 miles an hour, 2,000 RPMs. That's about half speed. I'm gonna go ahead. This does not have a deep hole. This hole is actually pretty flat, so this boat really does. Oh man, I look cool. I look so cool. Put that into a turn. Cruising along. I've never really ran wood boat before. My first time running a wood boat. We're gonna go through some of our wake here. And then you just have a little throttle here in the middle. Get my phone where we can see it here. Drive a little bit. You'll get me on the drone here. This is a 1957 Chris Craft Sportsman 20-foot wood all mahogany boat. Recently freshened up, neat boat, of course, all original. This thing is awesome. So first, starting up here, the trailer is obviously not going to be the factory trailer, so this is a DHM. This is basically for a wake style boat. Stanchion steel trailer with brakes here, and then we've got the winch. Now obviously there's no bow eye on here. So what we've been doing, we can do is put a cloth on the front here and then wrap it around there and winch off of here. So then the straps on the side go over to hold it down to the trailer completely securely. All right, looking here, we want to show any little imperfections or anything. The caulking here has some kind of grime in it. It could definitely be polished up. If you can see there where I wiped it, it started turning white really bright. But you can see a little bit of that dirt inside the caulk lines. Original hardware on here. It does have the big bright handheld, hand-controlled off the dash spotlight. And then looking at the bow here, we have a couple of scuffs that looks like maybe bumping onto the front here. A couple of scuffs in there. And then going down, this did have bottom paint on it. And then this green here is not bottom paint. It's over the top of the bottom paint, but it's not an anti-fouling paint. But this is. It looks like there's a few little tiny cracks in the caulking here, but I don't see them being all the way through into the hole here. There's a piece of some kind of a patch maybe or plastic, but that's hard to say. I'm just not going to mess with it too much. What it is, there's a little scuff here in the wood, but it's not, like I said, just in the wood, it's not through it. Caulk lines look pretty fresh and good here overall. Of course, I'm not a professional on these boats. I don't know. I know there's a few of you out there that are really good on these boats, so I'm not going to try to act like I know these boats. No boats, but this is the first wooden boat that I've really dealt with at all. Okay, so the glass looks great on here. Perfect glass here. Probably need to bleach this gasket along the bottom of it because it has a little bit of thing, but it'll come right out off the glass, and you could probably put it in bleach and clean that mildew stuff out off of it. But all this hardware looks pretty good. There's a little bit of the little pitting on some of this hardware, but for the most part it looks really pretty darn good. Going down the side of the boat, we got the original Chris Craft logos down the side. Again, this paint is on top of the bottom paint, so this paint, the bottom paint, is really releasing some of this paint. So you can see like places where the paint's coming off. That's because it's bottom paint underneath, and as you know, bottom paint is designed to come off and so anything stuck to it won't stick to it. Okay, going down the side of the boat, everything looks quite true. Everything feels pretty good. Here, there's some little gaps along here. You can see close up here, some little tiny gaps here in the caulk around there. But all in all, looks pretty good there. Let's see here. Bilge pumps worked on it. We did have, obviously it does take on water. It's a wooden boat, so the bilge pump fires off it fired off once, and supposedly as you leave it in the water, the wood expands and the leaks go down. But as a dry hole, putting it in there, it kicked off the bilge pump in about 15 minutes. Kicked off the auto bilge. Going outside, some more of that paint down there below the water line. Everything else looks really quite nice. All hardware. So let's hop up inside of the boat and show around in there. It has these big PVC guides for bringing it and letting it on the trailer, so those go in there. There's one on each side here. The flooring looks great in here. The upholstery is very nice. And this one, I did notice that a lot of these didn't have the split seats. So this split seat gives you a much easier ability to step up into the front between the seats instead of trying to climb on the seat and getting in. All the, as you see in the video, we got all the controls here. It's the choke here. And there's the throttle on the steering wheel there. See a couple of little places of the wood could be probably cleaned up a little bit there, all along the different parts of the hull there. And then down the side of the hull here, all of it looks really nice. Emblem on the dash looks great. Little handle here to hold on to. They did add a little 12-volt socket, and here's a plug. It comes with an adapted charger that plugs right into here to keep the battery topped off. Let's see. A little storage under the seat, access into the hull. There's some water in that bilge there. There's the T-handle for the drain plug there as well. Float switch and the thing, but that's all inside there. All right, and then let's go back here and we'll show you the engine compartment here. So there she is, the original 6-cylinder. I don't know, it was 147 horsepower, 157 horsepower, something like that. Okay, and when we fired it off, we did feed it some starting fluid into these big massive carburetors. We fed some starting fluid in there to get it going and get gas to it. And once it got the gas pumped up to it, because it had been emptied, all the gas had been removed. Then as soon as the gas got to those carburetors, boom, fired off and ran perfect. So all of that should be good. Once it has gas to it, it goes, which it should still have some there. All right, so there's the engine. You can get a good video shoot all around the engine. Okay, set down the cowling. And then there is access to the battery here. So there's your battery right there and the place to change your fuel and shut off the fuel. Back there. Seats up here. See that? You have access just down to where the prop goes through. You're packing. Oh, no, that's the bilge pump on there. Oh, the prop is behind this, under this panel right here. So underneath here, we have the prop bushings there going through the hole. And the exhaust pipe there. It pumped water really good, cooled the engine, kept the temperature just right. Super rad boat. Nice and comfortable. We have the original fire extinguisher. That's worth a lot right there. That's a big deal. Original fire extinguisher. There's a seat that goes up here. It's in the shop, but there's a seat that sits right here facing forward. So you have another position right here where you're sitting along right here. So you've got another 2 passengers here on this seat. You got 3 passengers there. So it gives you quite a bit of room for that. Overall, you've got space as you go for a cruise. If you have a place like a boathouse, you keep it in, you put it up on the lift, and take out the family in this and cruise in class. This is a high class boat, not like us Oregon coasters where we use these nasty old boats like out here, you know, grimy, dirty, fish guts all over them. High class boat here, the Chris Craft. So let's get this in your garage, because this is an amazing boat, and we're going to sell it. It has to sell. So bring us Let's make something happen on it. Come out here, pick it up, make a trip out to the Oregon coast. Come on, we are like, the beach is right here. There's Highway 101. You hear the cars going by right now on it. Like, this is the place. Easy to fly into Eugene, rent a U-Haul, tow it back home wherever you want to go, wherever you're at. Put this in your garage. You got the ultimate high-class boat here. And man, you want to talk about looks. Like, this boat would get you a girlfriend or keep your wife happy. I'll probably quit now. I'm done.